Hi guys, it's Paula and I hope you are doing well. This is going to be another update for the panning games, and this is a Fantastic Ladies collaboration. This project was so exciting. There's a lot of people doing it, and it's kind of an offshoot of the book The Hunger Games. And basically I decided to kind of put my own spin on this project. So I ended up putting 50 unused palettes into a box and pulling out 24 in as fast as I could. The goal was 30 seconds. It took closer to a minute, but I pulled out 24 palettes without looking, and I have been working on 2 a month. Now I don't have any other goal than to use them at least one time throughout that month, which doesn't seem like much, but at least they are not brand new, and I can form an introductory opinion on the palettes that I've bought and I'm storing in here so that, you know, they're no longer this unused thing that I can't touch. Today we are closing out the 3rd month and starting the 4th month of palettes. And over the past month, the 2 palettes that I've been working on were the Urban Decay Naked Heat and a small Smashbox palette from the Art, I believe it was called the Art Love Color collection. Yes. And this was a holiday release a few years ago, and 3 of these came in the set. I used one last month. This is the 2nd one, and I pulled the other one for this project as well. So I believe I did. Let's talk about the Naked Heat first. Here is what it looks like. I did 3 different looks with this palette during the month, which, like I said, is not a whole lot. I really wish I had more time to play around with this, but at the end of the day, my primary focus is still my Pan That palette, my baby Pan That palette, those kind of things. So if I could just use this a few times, it's a good start. Some standouts in this palette for me were definitely Sauced. This is a beautiful transition shade. I also enjoyed Ashes very much, the 2 matte shades, ironically, this one and this one. I thought they worked beautifully together. I did try one of these shimmery shades in the middle, and honestly, I can't remember which one it was. Either this one, probably this one. I can't remember which one I grabbed for an eyelid look. The other time I used the palette, I only used the matte shades, and then I used ColourPop's Weenie as kind of a shimmery lid shade. Weenie does pair well with the heat, but you don't really need it to use the heat. You kind of need one or the other. But the matte shades along with Weenie made a nice eye look. It's actually going to be in several videos, including my October empty. So if you want to know what that looked like, you could check that video out and see me using the Naked Heat along with ColourPop's Weenie. I believe that there was a lot of criticism when this palette first came out that you don't get a lot of variety. If you like a warm orangey eye look, this palette has that. But if you're looking for a palette that can give you a bunch of different looks, you're not necessarily going to get that from this palette. Well, I can't say for sure whether that's true or not. I really only did 2 or 3 looks, and they were all very orangey, warm, shimmery looks. I do believe there's some potential for a few different looks other than that if you're really willing to explore the palette, which I didn't. But it's a pretty warm palette. I thought the shadows performed beautifully. They blended very easily on the eye, and it was really fun to actually use this palette for the first time because I've had it for, I believe, over a year now, so it's nice to get some use out of it. The 2nd palette that I pulled is the Smashbox one. Here is what it looks like on the inside. I did not use this trio at all, but I did use this trio at least 4 times, and I used the blush twice, including today. I put a little bit on. Surprisingly, shockingly, the shadow that got the most use is this blue one. Once I kind of got into this eye look that I'm wearing right now, I used my blue eyeliner that's in my Birthstone Beauties in kind of the outer V, and then I just set that with this blue down here. This is a very pigmented, very dark blue, and I used the absolute tiniest eyeshadow brush I have to apply it so that it would be very precise and not like get out of hand, because the last thing I want is to look like I'm walking around with a black eye. But I loved it. This palette still pretty much looks untouched. I mean, these shadows are so pigmented that it doesn't take a lot. But I really did enjoy working with them this month and getting to know these colors a little bit better. I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed kind of discovering this look during the month, and I see myself coming back to this look over and over again. Even though I'm not going to be working with this particular palette, I will continue to look for dark blues to kind of continue this look, because I'm really loving this transition of like white to purple to blue. I'm enjoying it very much. Okay, for the month of November, I'm going to go back to more colorful eyeshadows. I happened to pull a couple of palettes that were all shimmer, and then a couple of palettes that were all matte during the intro to this project. So I kind of knew from the start that I would like to pair an almost all matte palette with an almost all shimmery palette as many times as I could, so that I could use the palettes together and see how they work with each other. And so I'm finally doing that this month. And so here are the two palettes I will be using at least one time during the month of November. The first one is this Urban Decay Ultimate Basics palette. I received this for my birthday last year, and I've never used it once, obviously. And this is the big one. This has all matte shadows, some warm, some cool, some rosy, some steely. I think this is a really great palette for matte basics. I mean, it's an ultimate basics palette, that's what it's called, and I would agree with that. This kind of covers all the grounds of what matte shadows you might need for your eye look. And as somebody who loves a shimmery pop on the lid, I think this is a great companion to go with so many single eyeshadows that I have. And that's why I really wanted this, because I do have a ton of shimmery eyeshadow singles that I would eventually like to work into eye looks, but you gotta still have the mattes. I will never do an all shimmery eye look on its own. At least I don't think so. I never say never when it comes to makeup, but I always see myself needing at least a couple of mattes to work into the look. The shimmery palette that I decided to incorporate in this month is my Tarte Make Believe in Yourself palette. Again, it's never been used. That's how it got into this project. It is gorgeous. I don't know why I haven't used it, because there's certainly nothing wrong with it. And it does have the one matte shade right here, so it's not completely all shimmer, but every other shade in this palette is very, very shimmery. A lot of you guys saw that when I was finishing up my baby panette palette, there was a green shimmery shade that I was layering over a blue eyeliner, and I love that combination. I've actually been missing that eye look ever since I finished off the green shadow that was in my baby panette palette. So I'm really excited to have a green shadow to work with again. I'm also just interested in the purples, this like mauve-y matte shade. I'm really excited to try this. Plus, I'm interested in the smell. The smell of this palette reminds me of something from childhood, but I can't put my finger on it. And I love this smell. And I decided it was time to treat myself to this palette. I've had it. Time to use it. I can't think of too many people that have ever said anything bad about this palette. Most people seem to think it's really high quality, but we will see. We will see for myself what I think about it. So these are the two palettes I will be working on, at least for part of the month during November, and then I will meet you back here on December 1st to tell you my thoughts of these two palettes and to show you the two new palettes I will be working on for the next month. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.